Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it will cave in and swallow me whole. Wondering why my mind keeps on spinning. This isn't how living to me what you told.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kenos, and I'm here with you tonight for the final week of the regular part of our split here for Split 6. I am joined by Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Pretty good. How about you?
Doing all right. Looking forward to these games, helping us figure out who exactly is going to be in the playoffs. Going to pop over to the standings here. The big contest we have, other than just shuffling around for positions in terms of seeding, is Phoenix and White Wolf. We got Phoenix at 5 points currently locked in, and White Wolf with a possibility to play spoiler if they manage to win both of their games. So match 2 is going to be the big excitement, but obviously all of these matches have significance. Blitzkrieg, 9 Lives has not lost a game since week 1.
Yeah,
and
they've been on a tear.
I am very excited to see if Blitzkrieg can play spoiler here. Because, obviously they are not in the playoff picture here, but obviously you got something to prove. You got something, leave with a message, right? That's what you want to do when you're in this situation. Sorry,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you think they got a shot at that?
I personally predicted this series to be a 1-1, because I think that, Blitzkrieg, they will have some pride about them. They don't want to go down another 0-2 to end the split. But 9 Lives, I wouldn't be surprised if they experiment a little, try to find, okay, how do these maybe picks that we've talked about doing but haven't really thought were worth trying previously, how might those work out for us as we head into the playoffs? Because they are currently top of the standings, but being the top seed versus being the second seed probably isn't that big of a deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them experiment a little bit here.
It depends who you ask, right? Because if you're top seed, you're going up against either White Wolf or Phoenix, right? So you kind of
potentially, but Phoenix could actually jump up to 3,
right? But let's say for the sake of argument that's kind of what you're looking at, and so then just that knowledge of we're going against a team. Maybe you have certain thoughts about that team's lineup, that sort of thing. But there's a lot more uncertainty once you end up in that number 2, number 3 spot. Like you said, Phoenix could bounce around. All sorts of things could happen. So, I don't know if they're going to play both games off color. But I could see one, like you said, where they're just going to try something out. Just be like, hey, we've thought about this sort of lineup. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Renekton and Xerath banned away by 9 Lives early on. That makes sense. Renekton has been probably J-Dog's most successful champion so far this split. Ace on Xerath has been potent as well. Ezreal Galio, that also makes sense, I think. Trufflesaurus, he's kind of a low econ mid laner. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but just holds on, stays even, and then shows up and does some work in team fights, whereas General Wally on this Ezreal has just been a terror for the entire league so far this split.
The Alawi ban raises a lot of questions. Maybe that's one of the things they've been trying, and somebody scouted that.
Yeah, it's possible. I could see that.
But instead we have Dante locked in. So now I'll have to actually start referring to her by her proper name. So that'll be interesting. More Wally, Wally or Relexus could be rocking that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I do think it'll be General Wally. I think I saw or heard earlier this week that he had been playing it a little bit. So this could be one of those experimental picks. Not to say that he's not going to be well versed on it, but it's a champion we haven't seen him play yet this split. And I would imagine if if 9 Lives had something that was really on the line for them here, we might not see it. But I think they're going to go in. This is the time for, if you're a team like 9 Lives that is feeling good, that is already locked into playoffs, you almost want to just give other teams something more to be afraid of come playoffs.
Absolutely. I'm a little surprised that we're going with the Malphite Tristana here. Assuming Malphite is top lane, that is a reasonable pick for J-Dog, I'd say. But I mean, we've seen that Sig Tau Lord has been doing much better when he gets champions he's very comfortable with. So the fact that they didn't use those first two picks to grab something like Nunu or Nocturne is a little surprising to me.
Yeah, at the same time, I mean, Nine Lives is already locked in. It looks like what will be their bot lane. So they do have one more pick, Blitzkrieg does, to grab either one of those champions. If they didn't grab one now, I would be a little surprised, unless we might be seeing a Malphite in the jungle.
I could see Sig doing well on Malphite in the jungle.
I think that would be, theoretically, it seems to fit into his style of champion. But I personally haven't seen him play it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure how well I would say Malphite's early game ganking would go, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's pretty non-existent till 6, to be honest. But I guess that's also to a lesser extent, but that's kind of how you play Nocturne too. Is on Nocturne you want to just power farm to 6.
Sure, but we did see last week Sig was doing some great early game ganking with Nocturne.
Mm-hmm.
It's highlight of that game for me.
And looks like Slackosaurus has got his Volibear, which I think has been his most common pick so far this split. So things looking pretty comfortable for Nine Lives, assuming that Wally is well versed on the Samira, which I believe that he is.
Prowler, thank you for the Prime sub and also the insight that Malphite doesn't jungle.
He played Malphite jungle. Prowler. Stop trolling us, Prowler.
But yeah, we see the targeting now on Sig. I would be very surprised if the last ban is not Nunu. Though they could also ban out... oh, someone listened to me asking about Lilia. They could also ban out like Mordekaiser or Jax if they think the Malphite is going somewhere other than top. Warwick.
And that Lilia ban is interesting to me because that means that maybe they're afraid that Rolexus has been practicing that top lane, because you have to assume this Volibear is going jungle at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surprised to see them throw a Lilia ban.
Okay.
Oh, well, Sigtal Lord is going to finally grant me my wish that I've had all split of somebody playing Lee Sin.
Rolexus going with the gangplank, alright.
He just wants to prove himself to you.
He does.
That's one of the B storylines of this entire split.
I don't know if this game is going to be what convinces me, regardless of how well he does.
Must have 2 pentakills at least.
In the first 10 minutes. But,
so overall, things looking... Other than the Samira, I feel like this is basically a complete, like, what we'd expect from Nine Lives type of comp. Kale... So is this going to be a... So support Malphite. Okay.
Okay, you go first, Jeff. What do you think about this lineup?
I mean, it kind of looks like Blitzkrieg might be trolling a little bit. I don't think that they're intentionally trolling. I think they're sort of like NA at Worlds kind of trolling, where they're just maybe at this point like, what do we do? I don't know. Let's try something outside the box. I don't expect it to work, but that's why you play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them, playing things that they like. I have no inherent issue with that. I'm just remembering J-Dog on Kale from, I think it was week 2. It was not pretty, especially when you're up against someone like Rolexus, who is so comfortable on that gangplank. Not to mention probably one of the best top laners in the LCUS this split.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this top lane might get a little bit ugly. Kale's just struggles. I mean, inherently as a champion, just struggles in the early game. And Gangplank being able to outrange her, it could get ugly. I don't know.
I'm interested to see Sig on Lee Sin. I don't think I've ever seen him play Lee Sin. I don't really think of him as a Lee Sin player. But we haven't seen Lee Sin at all this split, so it's nice for the man to make an appearance, and maybe he'll be as broken as he is in Legends of Runeterra right now. Who knows?
Not too familiar with that part. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see it. I'm actually I don't know. This entire team comp from Blitzkrieg is just so strange. So strange that I wouldn't be that stunned if it worked, but I don't necessarily expect it to.
I mean, do I have to talk about tanks?
Support tank is
Right.
the one tank.
That's the one tank. So there's going to be, and you've got a doesn't exist until level 16 character.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
And Vigar and Tristana are both pretty late game scaling.
Right.
Tristana has like an early spike as well, but
Yeah.
then a really deep mid game trough. So I'm not really sure what Blitzkrieg is hoping to accomplish with this composition. Maybe it'll be some sort of like play around the first dragon, the second dragon with Malphite ultimate and Lee Sin's early power spike. Try to get some gold on your carries and then just hold out until 30 minutes. I don't know. That's all I can really envision with this comp.
Yeah. So we'll see. If they've got something planned, good for them. But I'm expecting a very, very rough game here. I am envisioning a very rough game.
And if I'm not mistaken, this will only be our second Samira that we've seen in the LCUS so far this split. So,
Yeah, she has
just
been-
this split, just period.
She has been banned many other times.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. She did get nerfed again recently, or maybe that nerf is upcoming. No, I think she got nerfed already again for the second time. So it'll be interesting to see if Nine Lives can put the rest of the league on note and say, hey, this is something you got to worry about with us. You can't just ban standard against us anymore. You got to worry about this weird, unique champion that came out 2 months ago.
Well, fortunately for our listeners, since you'll be doing most of the play-by-play, they won't be hearing me making Devil May Cry jokes during combat. So there's that. But maybe it'll happen anyway. We'll see. Going into the skins here. This is Blitzkrieg's real chance to shine here. Good Kale, good Lee Sin.
No Malphite skin.
No Malphite skin.
And mediocre Tristana skin.
But no Samara skin. I don't like Astro Nautilus.
Oh my god, everyone has insane PCs and that loaded so fast. From what I saw, I'm gonna go with 9 Lives.
Yeah,
But I didn't actually get that great of a look at both teams.
I think 9 Lives did have better skins there on average. I'm not a huge fan of Christmas Vigar, though I know Ace is. Not that I, have anything against. I don't see it as a joke skin or anything. I just not a fan when you're lined up against something like Godfist, Lee Sin, and stuff. But all right, let's see what we can see here.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in the Tristana skin. Tristana has so many great skins.
But see, here's the thing: is that
we got Fire.
You may remember, I don't know if it was last split or 2 splits ago in the LCUS. Every single Tristana was the same dragon skin.
Because it's the best one.
So, if you have the decency to use a different skin for Tristana, then I am all on board.
Yeah, but she has like 3 or 4 great ones, I think. There's like a Demon Tristana, there's Rocket Girl Tristana. There's a lot of options. I do remember way back in the day, I actually don't know if this is still the case because it's been so long since I've seen the skin. But way back in the day, Firefighter Tristana was kind of annoying to play against because of her auto attack animation.
Okay.
It almost looked strange because like water would splash out of her gun at like a weird timing compared to when the auto attack was actually fired. I would imagine they must have fixed that by now, but it's been so long since I've seen this skin that I don't even know.
Well, we'll find out. Also, as we get started here, I should probably inform everyone that I may be having a loud doorbell sound effect come in through my audio. as a warning. for headset people. It shouldn't be that loud on the microphone, but it may interrupt things, and I apologize for that.
So both junglers started bot side. Blitzkrieg leashed, whereas 9 Lives did not. So they should get an early advantage in this bot lane. Top lane getting a little ugly already. But yeah, I see Icy Flip and General Wally with a big advantage on this first wave already because they didn't leash.
Waiting for Sugo to do one auto so I can see this weird animation. Nah, it looks fine.
Yeah, I think they changed it.
Base taking some harass from Shuffle early here. Focusing a little more on
Oh boy, so much damage onto CB Hickey. Will you flash now? Good quick flash from CB Hickey, because I think if he would have taken one more auto, then they might have flash followed to try to get the kill.
Trades flash for Ignite.
But yeah, that's the value of not leashing. You know, I think it's just by default everybody leashes, but if you don't leash, you get such an immediate inherent advantage in your lane by getting the wave first.
Looks like we might have Sig trying to gank here. Interesting. We'll see how this first gank goes. Does manage to land the combo, but gets the flash. All right. Oh, and we missed the first blood up in the top lane.
First blood up in the top lane. Yeah, this matchup is getting ugly already.
The Lee Sin distracted us from the poor early game Kale. Alright, so first blood goes over to Relexus. Not something you want to see early on here. If you are on Team Blitzkrieg. Did see a lot of support for them in the chat, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is. I mean, I'm sure everybody's pulling for Blitzkrieg a little bit right now because they're already out. It'd be nice for them to end their season on a high note. But also, I would imagine most of the other teams would like to see 9 Lives actually drop a game because at this point, they've won 6 in a row. You could argue that they, you know, were in that first series in week 1 where they got 2-0'd. It wasn't really that lopsided.
Sugo, you gotta jump out, buddy.
Let's turn in for the damage. And actually, Icy Flip could be in trouble here. Jump in from Shugo Tenshi, but just doesn't quite have the damage. Oh, that's a great anchor toss from Icy Flip. Trufflesaurus teleports in. I don't think they'll get anything here because the anchor toss is on cooldown. And J-Dog just getting beat up in the top lane. This might actually just be a straight up solo kill from Relexus. The flash. Will Relexus flash after? He does, and gets another kill.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, it's nice to see that, Sugo was confident enough to move into that fight despite being so low. I'd like to see Sig go in here, maybe?
Got spotted out by a ward there, though.
Close.
Yeah, I actually didn't see, what mastery Shugo Tenshi is running.
He's on, the highlight isn't working for some reason.
Yeah, not for me either. Because, yeah, Tristana, especially when you run Hail of Blades as your keystone, your early game damage is actually deceptively scary. You can get that explosive charge charged up so quickly, and all of a sudden you've just done 350, 400 damage to somebody in about 3 seconds, which is not what you expect from a level 480 carry.
Relexus currently has double the gold of J-Dog up in the top lane.
Yeah, it looked like that kill was a symptom of Relexus doing a great job managing the wave up there, getting it frozen in a spot that was uncomfortable for J-Dog, where he had to walk up pretty far, and then Relexus just landed a barrel, ran him down, because the lane was too long, and J-Dog roamed too far from his tower.
Ace has 28 stacks currently. Ooh, big.
Oh, that's a great anchor toss. I think Shugo Tenshi is dead. The Ignite ticking. One more. Nope, he's good. Wow. Just barely escaping, but...
Another big gank coming in here from the top lane. Not noticed because he went through the cross bush there. J-Dog going into the bushes just to kind of stall for time.
Yeah, he's just hoping Sigtal Lord will show up in time, but it's not gonna happen. 3-0 on the gangplank.
I really don't think Sig could have gotten anything done there anyway.
Yeah, probably not. I think even if he had arrived, it probably would have been just both of them dying.
So here's a silly sort of strategy question. If you're in that situation and you're already getting dominated by your top laner, do you try to let the volley bear kill you?
Yeah, I think Yeah, I think you would try that. I do think that 9 Lives would have been coordinated enough to just say, Volibear, I got him. Like, don't touch him.
Right.
But yeah, that would be the ideal case for J-Dog. As ideal as can be when you're about to die for the 3rd time in 7 minutes.
Alright, so very rough top lane, which is basically what we expected here, given the matchup. Sig doing alright on Lee Sin right now. Obviously he does not have a gold advantage because he has not been getting as many assists as Slack is. Ace is in the general area here as well, as is CB Hickey.
Oh, Shockwave onto Ace. Trufflesaurus, though, he actually backtracked into the event horizon, so wasn't able to really follow up. Icy Flip just barely doesn't steer that anchor toss around the wall, and I really want to see Sigtal Lord go back to this mid lane in the next, like, well, I guess it would have to be the next 10 seconds or so now, so it's not going to happen, because he burned that flash so early on with the gank in mid lane, but hasn't been back to that area since then. And the thing about Lee Sin is you have to be very present in the early game. That's when you're so powerful. And he did have one successful gank early, but since then we haven't really heard from him.
Well, Ace hasn't been pushed in enough for, I think, Sig to feel confident enough to go in. We do have a
that's a good stun
move here from Icy Flip. Oh,
Icy Flip. Oh, he chooses to go onto Ace. He might have been able to hit some terrain and get away. Instead, though, here comes the Cannon Barrage. That's so much damage down onto Shugo Tenchi. He just has to run away. CB Hickey is left all alone, and Slackosaurus runs down the Tristana. Anyways, double kill for the Volibear, and Blitzkrieg is just getting routed right now by 9 Lives.
I like, once again, you know, we're seeing a lot of confidence out of both of these bot lanes. We're seeing Icy Flip, you know, oh, I'm getting pushed on, well, I'm just going to turn around and anchor onto the mid laner.
Yeah, that was really good calculation by Icy Flip to know, because I thought he would just, you know, anchor toss up to the wall, you know, behind red buff, just be like, okay, well, I'm out, I'm good. But he knew he could withstand the damage, he knew he could survive, and just create a situation where his team would profit more.
Yeah, and I think it was that big creation ability that was his main driving force. I mean, that's something that tank players need to really think about is, you know, maybe I'll die, but if I create a situation where someone else can get a kill, that's what's most important.
Absolutely. And he didn't even die, so even goes better than that. J-Dog does have the ultimate available, but I don't think he has the mana for it, so he has to be pretty careful up here. Does have Sigtal Lord in the wings, and Sigtal Lord is level 6 now, so he has access to that kick, which he didn't in that last river skirmish, which might have been able to help them out a little bit.
Yeah, 100 mana needed for that ult, so definitely need to keep an eye on that, considering when you're on your back foot like that, you spend a lot of mana trying to keep up.
Wait, they're going in again in the bot lane. They do hook onto CB Hickey. He has no cooldowns available. Still not level 6, but General Wally just will let him go away. I like the discipline from General Wally. There have been a couple of times in this game where I think he could have flashed and tried to finish off a kill, but he understands that if he's getting them to back away from the wave and he's just getting to farm for free, that's fine. Keep your flash for when you actually need it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that if nothing else, Wally is very aware of how ahead his team is, so there's no necessarily reason to jump in wildly and get more kills. Let the game come to you.
Exactly.
Also, the fact that we can't see the style meter is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is. I didn't notice that. Yeah, that is kind of bad. CBX is still down at about a third health, and there's the depth charge and the ignite, and I think that this will finally be that kill that they've been looking for. Icy Flip jumps out, Shugo Tenchi, he's chasing the kill, but the heal is still available for General Wally. There's the ultimate as well. I don't think there's any way that Ace will be able to get anything done with that teleport.
But here comes Sig Tao.
Sig Tao Lord, actually, though, he could catch him on the backside with the Dragon's Rage. Oh, lands the Q onto General Wally. There's a kick. He got both of them with it, but there's no one else close enough. Ace shows up just in time. Full combo gets General Wally. But now Sig Tao Lord is going to drop to the Shockwave of Trufflesaurus. The mid laners trade teleports, trade ultimates, and trade kills.
And meanwhile, once again, we're distracted by the bot lane and J-Dog dies. Sorry for missing all these kills up there, Relexus.
This is actually an insane gold lead right now. We're looking at a 6,500 gold lead at 11 minutes.
Alpha's saying we can see the style meter. If you're just talking about like the glow on her, that doesn't count. I want to see the letters. How am I supposed to tell? How am I supposed to tell where in the alphabet she is by a glow exactly?
Yeah, you can, I think, but it's not very observer friendly. Anyway, down in the bot lane, CB Hickey is finally level 6, so he'll at least have access to that, the reason you pick Malphite, that unstoppable force.
And you know,
Ace lands a stun under Truffle Source, so gets a decent chunk down onto him.
If you do 7 unstoppable forces in a row, maybe Blitzkrieg can climb back into this game. Ace with 74 on the stacks. We can take a look at the gold lead, but we can pretty much guess where it is. 3,000 up on that Relexus, and then another 1,700 on Volibear. That's basically all that needs to be said about that. We have Ace trying to get the blue buff. Does manage to pick it up. And possibly setting up for Dragon?
Yeah, I think that would definitely be something 9 Lives should prioritize here. I mean, when you're this far ahead in the early game, you should just be at every neutral objective right away because they can't fight you. CB Hickey's going to go down in the bot lane. Jump away from Shugo Tenchi should keep him alive just barely. The Inferno Trigger doesn't quite have the range to reach him, but this bot lane continues to just be completely in 9 Lives control, which I suppose is the case for the entire map. Rolex is running at J-Dog once again. The ultimate isn't available for J-Dog, but I'm not sure if Rolexus knows that, so he hesitated there. He will just take the second tier turret instead.
Looks as though 9 Lives will get some good plate damage off on this bot turret as well. Relexus is actually teleporting to get away from Ace's upcoming vengeance. J-Dog might die to minions. J-Dog
might die to minions. Oh, he died to minions. Okay. Well, so, we caught that one. We got the minions kill on camera.
And blue team picks up the dragon with relative ease. So 2 dragons, 7,000 gold. Might be setting up for something big here. 4 people down in the bot lane.
No cannon barrage for Relexus, so he can't join in any capacity, but I don't think he'll really be needed. Sigtal Lord goes in, gets the kickback onto Slackosaurus, but they just don't have the damage to do anything after that. General Wally goes in, just eliminates them. And we're at 13-1 right now. The gold lead has ballooned up to about 9,000.
Stopwatch is overpowered, call your congressman.
And, I mean, this is, I guess, at the risk of sounding a little too harsh, this is kind of what you expect, I guess, when you see the team that has been probably the best team in the league by a considerable margin for the last 3 weeks against a team that has looked not great for the entire split.
I don't know if that's necessarily fair. I mean, this lineup that Blitzkrieg brought in is not one that you expect is going to get you far in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
I mean, you if they were playing a game right now where they were going to swap lineups, I think that Blitzkrieg would probably actually beat 9 Lives in this situation. Because you've got so much late game reliability, skill-based reliability, and 1 tank.
Relexus just solo killed J-Dog again. Sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. We missed it once again. But this time it was because I was talking, not because anything else. He's trying his best, man. I haven't
flash
seen
in from Icy Flip. Oh my goodness. This Samira's damage right now is, and the mobility is really, I think, surprising Blitzkrieg a little bit. Another turret goes down in the mid lane.
Looks like they're going once again for this big push. Grabbing the objective once again.
Yep, happy to take the Rift Herald, might as well. I mean, at this point, you can get second Rift Herald, and you'll probably get that to an inhibitor easily.
Yeah, we see not. I mean, Icy Flip hasn't died, which is pretty crazy considering how low he's gotten in almost all of these fights.
Yeah, the game as a whole has been pretty one-sided, but I do think that Icy Flip in particular has been playing extremely well in this game.
Just needs
with
to
his engages, knowing his limits, his situational awareness has been really impressive.
Needs to be a little more proficient with those hooks, but other than that, doing a great job. I agree. Couple of hooks that you don't want in them highlight reels. All right, so we got a mid. Blitz's mid is pushing out, or bot lane is in the mid trying to push out. Kale has finally taken her helmet off and grabbed another sword. So 5 more levels, guys. Just gotta hold on for 5 more levels. Another 8 minutes. And then Blitz will turn it around. How many stacks Ace got? 117, not bad. 119 now. See if there's...
So right now, I'm trying to think of what Blitzkrieg's plan should be. Obviously, it's a relatively difficult situation that they're in.
I think that Ace and CB Hickey should roam around the map with either Sig or Sugo, and they should just find individual targets and crush them.
Ooh, J-Dog goes in. Oh, Sigtal Lord, he dashes in with the safeguard, but he actually got popped by the Nautilus ultimate for his effort to help his teammate and will go down in payment for it. Shugo Tenchi running away from Slackosaurus, as is CB Hickey. Slackosaurus might just 1v2 this, though. Unstoppable Force is used to run away. Slackosaurus, I liked that. He tried to flash in front of the Unstoppable Force there, I think, which would have been a pretty swag play. Didn't quite get it, but still gets the kill eventually.
I do like J-Dog gets a little bit of a shout out there for shielding the Lee Sin as he was running. You know, trying to help out his jungler. Didn't quite work. Anyway.
Yeah, Sigtal Lord dashed in to try to save him. J-Dog tried to ult to save him. Only one escaped.
With the amount of CC that Ace and Hickey can bring to the table, I think there is real possibility for killing someone like Relexus, and we're going to see some of that here maybe, but he does manage to avoid that.
Yeah, it's so hard though, because Relexus, he has that fruit too to get out of the first one. General Wally shows up and just annihilates a couple people that were coming for Relexus. 22-1 in kills right now. At this point, I don't know. I don't know if you even get a Malphite ultimate onto, you know, a key champion if the gold difference is just so large that you won't even be able to burst them out.
I think that Vygar's damage is high enough that if they got an ultimate down on basically anyone except for Slackosaurus, they take him out. In fact, they might even be able to do it to 2. Like, I mean, if you have, if you had Truffle and let's say either Relexus or Wally somewhere, I think that they could take those 2 out. But they obviously are not going to necessarily be moving anywhere without their friends.
That was a really nice barrel from Relexus. That was actually a gorgeous combo. Leads right into the hook from Icy Flip. Sigtal Lord could go in looking for a big kick, but now he'll back away from it.
Ace getting bullied by the Nautilus ult. Should be able to get under turret. Ooh. Anchor just misses.
There goes Sig. Looks for a kick, but it was onto Slackosaurus, which isn't really going to do too much there. Flashing from Icy Flip, looking for the hook. He will go down, so there's that damage onto the support.
And I mean, that's one of their tanks gone. Relexus doesn't have 2,000 health yet. It looks as though 9 lives is, rather than trying to end the game, is trying to go for a perfect game. Ace is going to die here. Does end up using his stopwatch, which is overpowered as a reminder. Good flash. That's an amazing flash.
Well, the perfect game is technically out of the question because they have given up 2 deaths.
Sure, but you know what I mean. Like, I mean, they could have pushed in after that first inhibitor and probably won. But
Yeah, I think Icy Flip was maybe a little too far ahead of his team there. His team was still taking out the mid lane inhibitor while he flashed ahead and got bursted out.
So yeah, I don't know what, because I mean we've talked before about overconfidence in your lead and things of that nature, but in this situation, I don't think that is the case.
Yeah, this is a lead that transcends the word lead. This is a I don't know, a overwhelming level of an advantage that I personally have not seen in the LCUS for a long time.
And I don't want to sound like I'm casting blame here. It's more a blame on Kale's existence as a champion to begin with. But, I mean, part of this is the fault of running a champion who isn't a champion for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Not even because of the top
goodness.
lane lead. I'm not even going to watch what's going on down by the lane.
Just more barrels, more Oriana balls, more
kill
deaths.
CB Hickey. I think he does land the slow, which is nice, but yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I understand picking Kale in certain situations, but this entire comp was basically drafted for late game. And you can't do that. Especially against a team as good as 9 Lives. To imagine that you will not suffer a huge disadvantage when drafting a composition like this is a little bit irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, as Great Beard of Odin says in the chat right now, you need someone like Ornn up in this top lane. This comp might have worked if you had a champion like that, but you went with the worst early game champ in the game.
And conversely, I mean, as we see 9 Lives, we're barely talking about the game because it's kind of predictable at this point. Another shockwave, another kill. But conversely, you could have maybe subbed out a different component of the comp. I mean, Kale, yeah, it's not not great in this comp, but maybe Kale could work if you had subbed out a different component. In any case, it didn't work. Blitzkrieg fall 30-2 in kills. Pretty lopsided scoreline there. 9 Lives run their win streak to 7 now.
Just for the sake of it, we'll look at some graphs. Relexus is Gangplank, doing huge amounts of damage. Great job with those barrels. Absolutely. Can't deny that. And we'll pop into Vision as well. Yeah, Icy Flip doing a great job with the Vision. As expected.
Yeah, I think Icy Flip actually played that game incredibly well.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, Relexus had the flashy plays. General Wally had some flashy plays. But I think Icy Flip was I was most impressed with him, I think, in that game, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that, we've had some great supports in the LCUS. And I think that the play on Nautilus, once he gets those hooks up, will definitely go in there alongside things like Ashaway's Morgana and things like that.
The legend itself.
The legend itself. All right, so we are going to go into a quick break, and then we are going to go into Game 2. Blitzkrieg still has a chance to play spoiler to 9 Lives' claim of unbeatability. And we'll see if they're able to. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.